The Galaxy S24 lineup is official, and in my eyes, more questions than answers about whether you should pick up an S24 Ultra this year or an S24 Plus. If you've been holding on to that S21 Ultra, if you've been holding on to that S10 Plus for the last few years and it's finally starting to give out, this might be the year that you don't have to spend the extra money on the S Pen and the Ultra, and you can safely get the S24 Plus and be happy with that. We're going to talk about it spec for spec here in a little bit, but let's start with the Ultra. With the price increase, $1,300. Yeah, I know what they're going to say. They're going to have all that the bonuses and the whatever at the beginning when you first buy it, their free storage upgrade, that stuff that they usually give you. That's all well and good. By the way, link in the description does help the channel, helps the channel out immensely. I'm going to include in the description what the specific bonus, the exclusive bonus is for my link there. Usually an extra bit on the credit or $50 or something like that, but go ahead, don't waste it. Click the link in the description. If you're pre-ordering one of these phones, I'm going to include the S24 Ultra and the S24 Plus and save yourself a little bit of money. So let's talk about what you get with the Ultra. Like I said, $1,300. They can talk about what they want, all they want. It's a lot of money. To increase it $100 is interesting, and I think it lends more to they feel like they could get away with it because they're offering a bit more on the S24 Plus this year. People aren't feeling forced to buy the S24 Ultra because the Plus does have the Quad HD display and some other things, and it's only about 100 milliamp hours less on the battery. It's a 4900, I believe, battery. So there's some things there that I guess Samsung is like, well, you know what? We'll just keep charging more for the Ultra. People could buy the Plus, which stays at $1,000. Don't like it, but that's probably the thought process there. 6.8-inch display, Quad HD, of course, 120 hertz. Camera, 200 megapixel main shooter, the 10 megapixel 3x optical, and they did do away with the 10x optical on the S24. We're looking at a 50 megapixel 5x here on the S24 Ultra. So the 10x is gone. They're going to do it with AI. They're going to do all this processing stuff. That's fine. We'll see how that works. The proof is going to be in the pudding, of course, when we see the actual images. 12 megapixel ultra wide, so that's your camera system on the S24 Ultra. This is the first year, I got to say, that I am interested to see the output. Samsung images, especially the S23, was plenty good with it. Sharp images, poppy images, punchy, good saturation, all the rest of it. I'm curious to see with this new camera system how the S24 stacks up to the Pixel 8 Pro. The Pixel 8, kind of those colder images, sharper. So we'll see if the Samsung can match. So I'm interested in that comparison. We might actually do, we don't do a lot of photo stuff, but we might do a photo comparison between those two phones. 5,000 milliamp hour battery, about what you'd expect. 45 watt fast charging. So that's Samsung is still not giving us what some of these competitors overseas are giving us. 75, 80, 100 watt fast charging. Even Motorola here in the United States giving you 68 watts, pretty much standard on a lot of their devices. Wi-Fi 7. Now, why is that important? Nobody's going to be using Wi-Fi 7 right now. Well, because 7 years of support. Samsung is going to support your Galaxy S24 for 7 years. They're going to match Google with the support. I personally love that that's become an advertising thing, a selling point. I love the fact that there's competition to see who could support these devices the longest. That's pretty cool to me. We haven't really, we've come a long way from 2 years of, or 2 or 3 years of quarterly updates on the Samsung devices to now where we're getting 7 years of monthly updates on these devices. Going to be important for a couple different reasons. When you're leaning into AI heavily, now I know it's going to have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in it, super processor, top tier gaming, all the performance you're ever going to want, and there is some future proofing there. However, you're talking 7 years from now. We don't even know what the applications or the functions or new stuff's going to arise. And I think that's kind of the direction that you saw Google. Everyone's getting on Google for Tensor, saying, oh, why is Tensor under benchmark and stuff like that? They tailored it for AI. Qualcomm did the same thing with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. They're tailored for AI, and you're going to see a lot more cloud computing. You're going to see a lot more AI enhancement stuff. You're going to see a lot of the processing power, especially as connections get faster. Millimeter wave 5G, so as the 5G kind of blossoms and becomes a bit more useful in certain areas, you're going to see a lot more computing power because of the speeds offloaded from these machines into the cloud, into the servers, and then back to your phone. So while these aren't going to completely become terminals on a system or something like that, like a node off a terminal, it's going to be a lot less processor intensive as the years go on these particular phones. The next bit, Robin, remember that thing that was basically, that became the Razer phone, which is basically a cloud-based phone? Well, it might have been a little ahead of its time, as I believe a lot of these devices are going to start utilizing that. You've seen it with Google with some of the things that they offload from the devices, and now you're going to see it with a lot of the stuff with the Galaxy devices. Like I said, Galaxy AI is going to be its own video. A lot of cool stuff, note assist, call translation, all that stuff is really cool as Samsung kind of joins the AI race. I'm going to do a separate video on the different functions there. But I got to say, $1,300 for this. If you're titanium build, it looks fancy, all the rest of it. If you're a Galaxy the Ultra Note fan, I should say, there was a slip of the tongue, but you know what, it's accurate. If you were a Note fan, or if you're an Ultra fan, then the S24 Ultra is definitely the phone for you. If you like the boxier design, if you like the S Pen, all that stuff is going to be beneficial to you as you go forward. Now, if you weren't one of those, if you were kind of an uncomfortable convert, if you were somebody that was held hostage by the S24 Ultra because you got the additional camera, you got the periscope zoom, you got all this stuff that you felt, the Quad HD display, things that were nerfed from the S Plus lineup in previous years, now you don't really have that. The S is going to get the same processor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. You're getting a Quad HD display, a 6.7-inch Quad HD display on the S24 Plus model. You're getting 12 gigs of RAM. You're getting nice storage options. You're getting the 4,900 milliamp hour battery, so like 100 less. So not that drastic of a change in the battery. Plus, it's pushing a slightly smaller display, so maybe there's some savings there. You're getting one less lens. You're not getting the 5x optical. You're getting the 3x optical on that, but you're still getting zoom. So if you're used to that the S10 Plus, and it's starting to lag on you, if you're used to your Note 9, a bunch of people that are Note 9 that you want to move on, or an S9 Plus, even more so, or if you've held on to that overheating battery-challenged S21 Ultra, then this might be the year that you pick up the Plus for $1,000 and feel like you're actually getting $1,000 worth. You're getting a flagship level experience for that $1,000. Last year, to spend $1,000 and not even get a Quad HD display has been happening on the S Plus lineup for the last few years. It's disgraceful. It should never happen. Never happen at that point. And you look at the regular S24 at $800. I think the sweet spot is the Plus. In previous years, I hold your nose and spend the extra money on the Ultra. But this year, it feels like the sweet spot is absolutely the Plus. I'm going to still get the Ultra because I was a Note fan. I was a Note fan from way back when. I love having the boxier design. I love having the S Pen. I love the flexibility. I'm going to love the new AI stuff with the S Pen and kind of note-taking and all the rest of it, and highlighting and stuff that you could do, summarizing, highlighting and stuff. It's really going to be interesting. So that's why I'm going to pick up the S24 Ultra and have it here for the channel, of course, for reviews. But I could see a case this year for the first time in a while where you'd prefer and pick up the S24 Plus, save that money, and not really lose a lot in terms of hardware. So that's all to consider. Again, link in the description. Save yourself some money. Really helps the channel. I appreciate it. We're going to have the S24 Ultra here, I believe, on the 31st, whatever it finally gets here. Still undecided on color. We might do a whole other video on that. Well, we'll see. But we're going to have a dedicated S24 Plus video. We're going to have an AI video. And then I'm going to do tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in each of the trade-in offers and tell you the sweet spot that I think you should be at to trade in your old device. And there's a lot of people, let me tell you something, man, when this phone releases, I'm going to warn people now, my Note 9 users who are hanging on with duct tape and glue and whatever else. My friends, I'm telling you, I still get comments. I've gotten comments. I don't know how many comments in the past week I've gotten about the Note 9. Friends, I'm coming to you as a friendly here. It's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.